Hey everyone, checking in on the MJ space before we get into it. You guys have forced me to be that guy where I have to ask for likes. We had 5,500 views in the last video and less than 5% of people liked it. So that tells me people don't like my content. So I guess I should stop making it. Click the like button, please, and I'll keep making content. That's how I know that you guys are interested. So we're going to look at the major 5 names, the big 3 of the tier 2 names. Then we're going to look at T-God, VFF, GTII, CURA. And we're not going to have CGC earnings here. So, of course, there's a lot that I can't talk about because we don't know what that reaction is going to be. It's going to be at around 8 o'clock tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to look at that reaction to really get going tomorrow pre-market. So it's going to be after hours trading is done and some speculation. Usually when things come after hours, especially when things come after trading after hours, probably not good news, but I'll wait and see what the numbers have to say. So obviously everything I'm going to say about the major names is it depends on what the CGC earnings are. If it's a bearish reaction and we see weakness, we're going to be looking down on CGC at 41.68. If it's a bullish reaction and we see strength, we're looking up at 47.89 and then all the way up to the recent high of 51.81. So it's all up in the air. Other than that, any short-term analysis that I could do on anything under the daily time frame isn't going to matter without that information. And it's going to go the same way for most of these names. Kron was a lead bull today, stood out of the major names, closed pretty strong, but as we know, anything under 22.05 is just a lower high on the daily time frame. So this range is continuing to tighten. The 4-hour time frame has the low, the high, almost a double bottom, and we're looking for a potential lower high compared to 22.05. If it's a bearish reaction from CGC, we're looking down at 18.72 key support. If it's a bullish reaction, we will probably break 22.05. And actually, that's over 5% away. So let's just say that we're going to test 22.05 if it is a bullish reaction for CGC. ACB and APA want to compare these two. So we have the low of the pullback, the high of the bounce, and now we're looking for a higher low to form. And the bulls have to hold 666 from that low in order to form a daily higher low. And looking at the low of today and that support level, it's about 4.5% to get to that. And we compare it to APHA. And APHA, we have the low of the pullback that's down at 808. The high of the bounce is 950. And from the low of today, how much space do we have for the bulls to hold support? And it's 8+%. So what does that tell us? That tells us just the odds. What are the odds that APHA is going to form a higher low compared to ACB? And if I'm a trader and I'm looking for a bullish position to try and see these names change their daily trend, I'm going to be choosing APHA because I know that it's more likely to hold its recent support and hold that higher low. If we have both names pull back 5% with bearish CGC earnings, APHA is still holding support while ACB has dropped down to a lower low and probably still a bit of an overhang with the earnings reaction that ACB had just a couple days ago. So if it's a bullish reaction to CGC, we're going to be looking up at 950 on APHA. And if it's a bearish reaction, we're looking down at 808. TLRY is extremely tight. It's going to break one way or the other. And we are going to see a reaction to CGC cause this break, in my opinion. If bearish, we're looking at 75.25, and the next level after that is 72.52. And if it's a bullish reaction, we're going to be looking up at the upper 80s, really. And if the bulls can clear 80.73, that will stand out to me. We haven't cleared that level in the last 6 trading days, so that would be notable if we got a bullish reaction to be able to get over that level. But other than that, we're just playing a wait-and-see game for the rest of the major names. HXO consolidating, so just like APHA and ACB, the bulls need to form a higher low on the daily time frame here because if this support level breaks, it's that head and shoulders pattern that the bulls do not want to see follow through. 658 and 651 are 2 very key support levels, and if broken, there's a lack of support immediately under them. Resistance is going to be 744 and 794. Bulls want to hold a higher low, turn around and break resistance to be looking towards continuation. TRST is much more bullish than HEXO right now. And that's just because we broke to a higher high. Granted, we didn't get a lot of follow through, but this is bull flag like consolidation. Hourly time frame established a higher low. So we looked at this one yesterday and we said, is this still healthy hourly consolidation? It's still a bull flag at this point. Let's look for the hourly higher low to form. And the question into tomorrow is if we can't break 1070, we have an hourly equilibrium to be watching. And that's going to be a nice setup into early next week. So reject from 1070, pull back and form a higher low compared to 1016. and we'll be looking for a break perhaps Monday or Tuesday, depending on how all these other names react to CGC. I expect the major names that have the same listings, or I should say the dual listings on major exchanges in the US, I expect their correlations to CGC to be the highest, as opposed to these other names which are trading on the OTC in the US, and there's going to be less bots and less program trading linking all of these stocks to the CGC reaction that we have. OGI, also looking for the daily high or low. So we have a tightening daily range. We have the high of the bull move, the low of the pullback at 657. We did form a lower high at 767, and now we're looking for a higher low compared to 657. Have to change the daily trend with a higher low and continuation for us to say, all right, our weekly higher low is clearly established, and the bulls are looking for follow through back to that all-time high. So that's going to be very interesting here going forward. This daily tightening range probably going to break later next week, again, pending how much of a reaction we share with CGC. T-God, beautiful follow through, slight uptick in volume 2 days in a row. So we broke key resistance of 360. And that now tells us that the odds that we're going to form a daily higher low on this consolidation and be able to change this trend back in favor of the bulls with the higher low and then trend change confirmation with the higher high, the odds are a lot more likely now that we're breaking the daily lower highs. And you look at it on the weekly time frame, and that is very healthy consolidation now and a clear shift in momentum. We are getting a bit extended, hourly higher lows to be watching. If we lose 362 tomorrow, that tells us that daily consolidation to try and form this higher low will be coming. And again, it's comparable to APHA and ACB. ACB, how much space do we have to work with? Not that much. APHA has more space to work with. T-God is going to have a ton of space to work with. So it's all about odds, and the most favorable bullish setup would be T-God out of those names as far as changing their daily trend. VFF continues to tighten in the 4-hour pattern as anticipated, but this favors the bulls at this point. And the reason it favors the bulls is because that was very brief pullback. Unless tomorrow, first thing, we come out and break 883 and head down into the 860s, then we're right back in the middle of this pattern that's probably not going to break until Monday. If, however, 883 can hold tomorrow, the bulls have a ton of favor. And the reason they have that favor is because we did not pull back significantly at all before we establish that support. So that keeps us right next to resistance. And if the bulls can just push through 934 and 948, we have a breakout. So keep an eye on that level, 883, key support to be watching tomorrow morning as to whether or not the bulls are going to make a run at this resistance level and try and break this tightening pattern. GTII starting a pullback. Both GTII and CURA are strong U.S. names that have been breaking out but are now seeing their consolidation. This is why you need to use smaller position sizes for these volatile U.S. names. The high of yesterday to the low of today, 7.5%. And that's obviously very significant. So the next support that we're looking at, anything above $15 is a higher low. So the bulls have plenty of space to work with. And looking at the hourly chart, if we were to get extended here and drop down under 1771, I'd be watching for an hourly oversold bounce to be looking for an entry in for a daily higher low. But other than that, if we don't get, extreme, the lower high on the hourly is 1886. Any bounce attempt under 1886 is just a lower high, and we have to change this hourly trend back in favor of the bulls if we're going to see the daily higher low clearly established and the bulls attempt continuation of this trend. CURA has already seen a day of consolidation underway. Anything above 875 is a higher low. And looking at the hourly time frame here, we're already trying to shift momentum. We saw the high of the morning, little weak bounce attempt, a higher low formed, and we're testing that resistance right now. 1002 is short-term resistance to be watching. And if we break that level, the odds that this is a higher low already being set will be pretty favorable. So if we can get some follow through, daily inside bar will probably take place tomorrow if the bulls can hold support. And then that inside bar on Monday breaking bullish would be a clear indication that the higher low has been established. Have to see how tomorrow morning trading goes. Ideal scenario for the bulls is to break 1002, and that would increase the odds that we can see a daily inside bar and tightening range into next week. So it's all about CGC earnings. We'll see how that reaction goes, and we'll know a lot more over the weekend. We'll put out the US and Canadian MJ video over the weekend as usual if there's enough likes to support that content. And I appreciate you all. Hope you have a good rest of your Thursday. Do some good things, and wind just blew the door shut. That'll end it.